Hello again. My name is Ian Hartman, Solution Architect at Western Computer. Well, you've made it to this fifth and final installment of Product Configurator for Dynamics 365, Finance and Supply Chain. In my prior sessions, I introduced the expression editor and explained how to use attributes, constraints, calculations, bombs, and routes. So by now, you should have enough background knowledge. However, if you haven't seen the prior four recordings, then I highly suggest you go back and review them before proceeding. In this episode, I'm going to focus on a configured kit. I'm going to give the order taker the ability to add insurance and or a cable to the high-end speaker we've been working with this whole time. If a cable is selected, then the user has the ability to pick the cable size. I'm also going to show you how to create the sales price and how it dynamically changes based on the insurance term that's selected and on the cable size that's selected. So as usual, we're going to start in the product management, information management module, and we're going to focus on the product configuration models. And earlier, I was talking about this D004 high-end speaker in all my prior sessions. Today, we're going to take that same high-end speaker. We're going to ask the user, do you want to include a cable? And if so, what's the size? And we're going to also have another kitting option for insurance, where the insurance policy is put into the box as well for packaging. And if insurance is selected, then the user also gets to pick the term. So let's zoom in. Now, this is our top node, the speaker kit. The speaker kit is made up, as I said, of the high-end speaker, which is the part we've been playing with. And as you can see, the attributes that are here, each of these attributes, when selected, will price the unit as well. Assembly runtime is a calculated field that's hidden. So you can see here it's hidden. It is used for the assembly runtime and to put the labor together for that. So these attributes appear this way as we've seen, whereas when I click on the speaker kit, we've created some new attributes. Here I have a Boolean attribute that's asking, am I including a speaker cable? And if so, what is the size? So the user is going to pick the size. And then finally, is additional insurance required? And if so, the user will, on another tab down here, the insurance tab, which is presented to them, so they can walk through each of these nodes and configure what you'll see when I present the end user experience. They're going to pick from lists of what's my cabinet finish, etc. And then they're going to select on the insurance tab, what is that additional insurance period? Also related to the insurance, the default value is 2 years, as you can see here. So that's what's going to be presented to the user when they go through the sales order or production order. Also, the insurance is using an item number, which is a service item, S item. And if I click back on the speaker kit itself, the parent node that's being assembled, you'll see here that the cable is also added as a BOM line, and that's part number T0001, which is the cable that's going to be added. It's actually a configurable size cable that will be cut during routing. And like I said, if I click on route operations and scroll down, there's the 2 steps. There's cutting the cable and then packing the goods. So let's dig deeper into subcomponents and user requirements. Let me just close down this top section here. So subcomponents are the individual child nodes, but in this case, the subcomponent is going to create a sub-BOM and a sub-route with a unique configuration that's going to hang off of the main configuration. The main configuration being the high-end speaker. That high-end speaker is now going to have a sub-BOM and sub-route attached to it. And I'm going to show you this when I create the sales order. It's actually going to be hanging, off of the speaker kit top node, not off of the high-end speaker. It's going to be based on the high-end speaker, but the speaker kit is where that particular subcomponent node is. And if we look at user requirements, the insurance is also hanging off of this top level. However, It's not a sub bum or a sub route. Instead, the insurance is actually a phantom item. So keep in mind that these components, like the insurance, are not restricted just to this model. I mean, I showed components in a prior session as well. So you can use these on other models as well. Let's talk about the constraints and the calculations. So if I click on the high-end speaker itself, we can close down user requirements, and I open up the constraints, you're going to see that these are the constraints that we were looking at earlier, the color and the finish, the table constraints, etc. You can also add calculations, which we talked about in prior sessions. This is how the assembly runtime is calculated. If I come up to the speaker kit and I go over to the constraints there, this is saying if additional insurance is yes, then let's activate a particular attribute or node. So we really only want to display the insurance if the value is selected. Next thing I'm going to show you is how to set up sales prices. So I'm going to click on the model and go over to the price model criteria. Now, sales prices can be based on a number of different things. They can be based on the order type, which are these three types. There's a sales order type, there's a quotation for a customer, and a quotation for a prospect. They're date driven, they have an expiration date possibility, and of course, this is the name and description that you're giving it. And so I've set up some standard prices, and these can be duplicated. There could be many different price models. So if I come over here to the price model itself, and I look at edit, you'll notice that these prices are currently by currency in US dollars. The total base price is $399.95 for the kit. If a cable is included, we're adding $99.95. If the cable is size 2 feet, then we're going to deduct $79.95, making the cable only $20. And if the cable is 30 feet, then it's going to be $9.95 per foot. If I look at the speaker itself, its base price is $1299.95. If it's white, we're taking money off. If there's corner protection, we're adding money in. If the front grille is metal, etc., etc. And then the calculation for the speaker height, we're doing $15.95 per inch. And then finally, if the insurance is added, it's $59.95 times the insurance period, which if you remember is a variable. Now, if I change this, let's say to euro, you can see that it's now $39.95, where in US it's $59.95. Not saying these are correct exchange rate values. The same is true over here. The base is $899.95. In US, it was $1299.95. And so the insurance is actually not a price, it's a calculation. It's not a fixed value like you see here, as is the speaker height. Both are calculations. So let's create a sales order for this, and I'll show you how it works. So I'm just going to use my favorites and go to all sales orders. As you know, that's under sales and marketing or under accounts receivable. I'm going to take a brand new sales order, start from scratch. So let's start with picking a customer. We will pick Linda Stanton. Now we can assume that this order is actually coming in from an e-com service or not. I'm going to say that the default warehouse I want to pull the goods from, and maybe the customer has their own order number from Amazon and whatever. So this is a one-time order, and it's going to be configured a speaker for the user. The speaker we were using was the speaker kit. So we'll just pick the speaker kit, D006. And you'll notice it comes in with a quantity of 1. Let's assume, again, this might have been uploaded. And I wanted to show you that if I come over here to product at the bottom, there's no sub-bum or sub-route yet until I start to configure it. So let's configure it. I'm going to go to product and supply, and we're going to pick the configure line. There, of course, could be multiple lines here with multiple configurations. Now notice, this is our template. And the first things it's showing us is additional insurance and include the cable, which was sitting at the top node. The other field was hidden. And we already have a price that's being calculated at $1619.95. Well, the reason is we haven't even started picking any of the speaker pieces yet, what colors we want. So watch how this price changes. First is I am going to pick additional insurance. Well, we're now $1739. And if you remember, the default was 2 years. And so that's $1739.85 for 2 years. Next, should I include the cable? Yes, I'm going to include the cable. And the default for the cable was 2. I'm going to say no, it's 10 foot. So now it's 1919. Now I can navigate with this new next button that we haven't seen before, or I can navigate by going up and down the list. So let's say I want to look at, and we talked about feasible, so I'll turn that on. If you have really big lists, it's great. I'm going to pick a black cabinet. Notice how the price hasn't changed yet. Oh, maybe it has. Metal, all of a sudden the price has changed. I'm going to add the corner protection. Price has changed. And I'm going to make it a 14-inch long speaker, sorry. So now my price is $23.12. And again, I can just click on insurance or click next. The insurance period is 2 years. I'm going to leave it at 2 years and I'm going to click on OK. So we're now configuring the sales order line specific for Linda, and the price is going to be $23.12. And if I come down to the bottom here, you're going to see that there's a sub bomb now. If I click on that sub bomb, you'll notice that the pieces that I put in are here. So this is the item. If you can see on the right, it says item type item, and that's that speaker cable, which is the audio cable. This is the BOM, which is the speaker itself, the black metal 14-inch with the trim. And then this is the service, which is the service item, and it's going to include the paperwork for the insurance. And I can also show you this in a designer view if you want to see what it looks like that way. These are the pieces of the speaker, and of course it rolls up to this BOM number. So that is, in a nutshell, how subcomponents, user requirements are used to configure a kitted item, and how prices and how they change dynamically as you're configuring this product. Thanks for attending this 5-part series where I explain how to use the Product Configurator in Dynamics 365 for finance and supply chain management. I'm Ian Hartman, Solution Architect at Western Computer, and if you want to learn more, feel free to visit our website, resources.westerncomputer.com. Thanks.